If you've ever run a lead gen campaign on Google Ads, you know all the problems that come with it. Not all leads are the same quality. You've got a lot of spam, a lot of junk. Even for legitimate leads, there's people who have no real interest in buying. And this is a problem across B2B and B2C advertising. But if you're managing accounts for a business or a brand, whether you're an agency or an in-house marketer, a consultant, you'll probably discover that the sales teams and the business owners, they don't have the time, the resources, or even the urgency to do any of this qualification themselves. And they often end up calling a lead once or twice, not getting an answer, giving up, moving on to the next one. When you're paying dozens of dollars up to hundreds of dollars for a lead, the worst thing you can do is let it go. And then it comes back to you, the Google Ads service provider, that, lead quality is not coming in. It's not good enough. So how do you kind of bridge that gap? And so when I ran marketing and optimizer, I used event-based lead scoring to get around that challenge. The sales reps were too busy closing deals that were already in the pipeline, that were already close to closing, to stay on top of the leads that were coming through and see which ones we're pursuing next. I was able to not just automate a large part of that, I was also able to put higher quality leads in front of the sales team, which improved their close rates, which made me look better as a marketer. You start this ongoing cycle of feedback. The first time you upload a batch of online conversion data to Google, like, you're continuously going to start telling Google which leads it delivered were good quality leads and which ones weren't. And then we'll try to get you more of those. So when you pair this with targeting improvement, keyword selection, ad group structure, all that other stuff, good copywriting, good landing pages, it really does cement you as the consultant or the agency or the marketer that knows how to get that good final conversion, who knows how to bring in leads that deliver business results. So to walk you through how I do this, I've set up basically a demo environment in HubSpot. Most CRMs and call logging tools, call recording tools offer similar functionality, so you should be able to replicate this setup quite easily. First thing here is I've got some contacts. I've created 4 of them. Normally, these would get populated as people click on your ad, submit forms, have phone calls with your sales team, whatever it might be. And then there's also some workflows that are running to automate some of the lead stages and things like that. And then the core of all of it, which is the lead scoring flow that will allow you to pick out the right leads to send back to Google, right? So starting with the CRM records, this business is a fictional one, right? So it does landscaping and it operates on the south coast of England in the town of Torquay and its surrounding areas. And the campaigns are set up geographically. So we have a Google Ads integration with HubSpot that allows you to naturally pass lead data back. So we're setting that up. Other CRMs might require you to set this up through Zapier. If that's the case, there's a really good video by another member of Got to Your Ads, Patrick Sam, that will teach you how to automate that process, or check the description. It's also linked at the end of this video. And if you're in the GTA community, you'll even be able to pick up the template resources for free. More on that at the end. So I've got 4 leads here of differing quality, and that's recorded in the fit score, which is calculated through my lead scoring workflow. Also monitoring lead status, which ranges from simply submitting a form all the way to being a happy customer. And then you've got all the vitals, right? So your contact details, contact methods, how much they want to spend, what they want to spend it on, where they're from. Critical piece here for offline conversions are the Google Ads campaign name and the Google Ads click ID, which is the gclid, the hashed value that Google uses to identify a conversion in your account while maintaining its privacy. And you can pass this gclid back to Google Ads within 90 days of conversion and tell it that it was a good lead, and it will be able to ID the original user. Now, for this demo, it's a custom property. If you set up direct integration with HubSpot and Google Ads, there will be a property, I believe, under the Google Ads property group for gclids that will naturally pull that data in from Google Ads. Next up are the workflows. And these are simply automations that you can build in HubSpot or whatever CRM to trigger an action when certain conditions are met. So the first one I've got here is to update the lead stage to work order signed when a deal associated with that contact is created, which indicates the paperwork has been finalized, right? And you can set up automations to move people through deal stages based on whatever information is logged in your CRM. And then here's another automation that fires off an email to people who showed some interest on the phone, not quite enough to move to the next stage with a quote, but just showed some interest in, okay, there is some potential there. This isn't just somebody who filled out the form because they wanted to spend 200, 300 pounds on or dollars on some new plants. They actually wanted some landscaping services, or this isn't somebody who lives outside of the area that we service, right? So you've had some qualification, and it's like, okay, I would like to be able to do business with this person, but the interest is not strong enough on their side. So this email is not a sales push. It's going to be some valuable information. It's going to be an explanation of how we work and how we operate, maybe some of our USPs, a quote or two from satisfied customers who got the same type of work done. Again, you can really set up an automation to do anything as long as you log the data in the CRM, as long as the information changes as it normally does. With more technical setups, I've set up live data to get pulled in from other custom databases, offline databases that continuously get updated through an integration with HubSpot. So you can really set up anything as long as you set it up, as long as you can understand its impact on the business and you can record it in HubSpot. You can use that to trigger an automation. You can use it as data that is modified, or property values that are modified as the outcome of the automation. There's really no limit other than what you're able to bring into HubSpot and what ideas you can bring to the business.
Hello, quick interruption, sorry. If you're enjoying the video, I assume you are because you're still here, please hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. Thank you very much. Back to the video.
Okay, now on to the main event, which is the lead scoring. And this is the centerpiece of this entire tactic, which is really based off what is important to the business. It's not really a lot to do with marketing metrics or Google Ads performance. So you really do have to understand what motivates your client, your employer, their business model, how to qualify leads in a way that works for them, where they're happy with the end outcome and not necessarily the number of leads that are coming through, not necessarily the click-through rate or anything like that. So over here, for this business, the primary driver above all else, which the business cannot service if this is not the case, is that the leads are located, their homes are located in a specific part of the county of Devon, right? So I've got some sample towns populated here, and all this data is coming in from the form on our landing page. One thing to remember here is that things like misspellings can have an impact on the hygiene and the accuracy of this data. Even if you set everything up correctly, if you allow people to type in stuff, typos, misspellings, all of that stuff can kind of not necessarily trigger the right automation. So unless people are picking entirely predefined options from your list and not typing in anything of their own, you're still going to need to review the data periodically and make sure that no leads accidentally get qualified higher or lower than they ought to be, that there are no leads getting put into workflows and automation that shouldn't be there, or that there are no leads that are supposed to be in those triggers and automations and workflows that are not being added to them. So along with location, another thing we want to look at is how much the prospect wants to spend. So higher ticket jobs, more valuable, and therefore get a higher score bonus. And in this example, they're sorted by tier of spend because different services have different price tags. People tend to combine two different things. We have a whole pattern in the business data of upsells and cross sells. We know what people typically buy in addition to service A or B or C, whatever it might be. So based on that, we know, okay, there are these different tiers of spend where people tend to spend this much money together on these services, right? So we've sorted them by price tag, we've sorted them by price tiers. And each of these gets a different value. Obviously, the more valuable businesses are the ones that spend more. And so you can see that the points are higher for those. And then finally, we have the lead status. And lead status is really what impacts whether there is real business intent. So obviously somebody submitting the form or not answering a callback is a poor sign. It's not that they'll never spend, but chances are that they won't. It's all about the amount of effort that you want to put into pursuing them. So right at this stage, okay, you call a lead back, they don't answer. You call them twice, they don't answer. You want to move on to the leads that do engage, right? So these, they just don't get any points. And then in the next stage, you've got somebody who is a little more valuable, where you had a good conversation with them, or You sent them a quote. Both of these things are positive signs, but they're still not really enough to make them a valuable business prospect. Signing a work order is a good thing. It comes with a legal obligation to see the contract out. So more points over there. Paying the advance is an extremely good thing. It is cash flow, which is what this business is really after at the end of the day. Google Ads just being a means to that end. And then, of course, somebody who's happy or unhappy with the job is another level on top. It's more to do with the service provided rather than the quality of the lead, but it's still really nice to see who's happy and who's not. And you may not necessarily use that when you're choosing which leads to send back to Google, but this is something that, if you're building this out for a client or your employer, it's going a step above and beyond just the basic effort of qualifying the leads for Google Ads and thinking about like what's valuable to the business, and how to identify people who are happy with their service, right? The really good thing about lead scoring systems like this is that the scoring is incremental rather than cumulative, which means that as people progress through lead stages or different tiers of spend or whatever it is, if they increase, decrease something, then they get the new score value for that property rather than it being added on or subtracted from the previous total. So it's not like, okay, 10 points, add 10 points, then 20 points, then 30 points every time they move through the lead stages. No, it's just, okay, if they hit this stage, they get 10. If they hit this stage, then you add another 10 because it's plus 20. And for the plus 30, then it adds plus 10 on top of the plus 20, right? So it's step by step. And you can also subtract points for negative actions. You could even build a whole scoring workflow to start from zero and only penalize traits and actions that are not valuable to your business. So again, a ton of flexibility with automated lead scoring. You can really set up any kind of workflow based on what's important to your business. You can punish certain actions, you can reward certain actions, and of course, it's all fully internal. You can even set up multiple workflows for, say, like different types of conversions, different end goals, different locations, whatever's really relevant to the business. And then finally, what you want to do with all this information is really just cherry pick your good leads and upload those as offline conversions into Google Ads. You can see here the G-CLIDs are populated. These are just made up G-CLIDs. But you'll use these to tell the machine, these are the people who filled out my form and went on to become of monetary value to my business. And if you're using conversion values on top of it, aka value-based bidding, then it's going to additionally give you another layer to grade those leads based on which ones are nice to have, which ones are more valuable, which ones are super valuable to business growth. Again, just remember that G-CLIDs expire in 90 days once they're created. So that is your window to act on them. If your client or your brand's sales cycle is longer than that, you will need to find an event that occurs within the time frame, which can safely be used as that measure of lead quality to decide, okay, we're going to send these ads to Google or we're not going to. That's basically a wrap on automated lead scoring for Google Ads. If you found this video helpful, please leave us a like and consider subscribing as well. There's a ton of misleading marketing information and advice out there, and Ed and I would hate for you to only ever hear things like spend more money or just opt into all of Google's automations or trust me, bro, broad match is the best. Yeah, broad match is good, but it's not always right for every account. And there's a world of non-Google Ads optimizations you can do to improve campaign performance. And, we're committed to making sure that we put that advice in front of you. And if you really want to simplify your Google Ads process, definitely check out Ed's God Tier Ads framework and all the bonus content that comes with it. People use it, say that it pays for itself, that it helps them not worry about wasting money. And they also get access to the GTA community, which has answered thousands of marketing, hiring, and PPC related questions for consultants, in-house marketers, agency owners, business owners, people who are just getting started, anybody who's struggling to find answers by themselves. And that's the main thing, right? We work better together. We work better as a community. So hope you enjoyed the video. Give Ed some money, like and subscribe, and cheers.